Jerome was watching a ticker at 6:47 in the morning, Pacific time. Coffee still too hot to drink. The screen refreshed every few seconds, and each refresh sent a small electric shock through his hands. SpaceX was going public. The company that landed rockets standing up. The company making Mars feel like a real destination. And here it was, finally available to anyone with a brokerage account and a dream. Opening price, $206. Jerome bought. He bought fast. His hands had been hovering over that button for weeks. He had read everything, watched every launch, believed in the mission. The moment felt historic.
He was part of it now. He owned a piece of the future. 24 hours later, a filing went public. An insider, someone who already worked at the company, had purchased shares the day before Jerome did.
Same company, same week, $71 cheaper, $135 a share. Jerome did not do anything reckless. He did not bet his rent. He followed the news, did his research, bought a company he believed in. And he still paid $71 more per share than someone who had access to the same information, the same product, the same future. The difference was not intelligence, it was timing. The insider bought on a quiet Tuesday. Jerome bought on opening morning, when the excitement was peaking, when everyone was watching, when the price reflected not just the company, but the collective emotional temperature of the room. That $71 gap is what this episode is about. Not because it belongs to SpaceX, not because it only happens in investing, but because that gap shows up everywhere money changes hands, and it almost never gets a label. The checkout screen you tapped this morning was built the same way.
I call this the mood premium. Once you see it, you will recognize it in places you have been paying it your entire life without knowing there was a charge. Let me define this carefully. The phrase sounds like a metaphor.
It is not. The mood premium is the invisible surcharge you pay, in dollars and in future compounding, whenever a financial decision happens at peak emotional temperature instead of calm baseline. It is not a fee on a receipt. It is not charged by an identifiable party. It is engineered into the timing. The system that delivers you the opportunity to buy, whether that system is an IPO roadshow or a one-click checkout button, is optimized to reach you when your judgment is weakest.
Not weak because you are stupid, weak because you are human. Humans in a state of excitement process risk differently than humans in a state of calm.
A person deciding whether to buy something at 2 in the afternoon, after lunch, with no urgency, is a different buyer than a person deciding at 11 at night, tired, stressed, with a phone that remembers their card and needs only a thumbprint. The companies that sell you things know this. The platforms that move your money know this. Modern commerce is built around catching you at the moment when saying yes feels most justified and requires the least friction. That is the mood premium. You are not paying for the product. You are paying for the version of yourself that was present when the product asked. The price of the thing stays the same. The price you pay varies depending on your emotional state when you encounter it. And because emotional states are not random, because they can be engineered, because the timing of an offer can catch you at your most vulnerable, the mood premium is not an accident. It is a business model. Start with the consumer side. That is where the machine is most visible. 20 years ago, buying something online required effort. You had to type a credit card number. You had to enter a shipping address from scratch. You had to wait for the page to load. You had to click through a confirmation screen that gave you one last chance to think. Each of those steps was a tiny pause. A small moment where second thoughts could enter the room. Most impulse purchases did not survive the friction. That friction has been almost completely removed. Your card is saved. Your address is saved. Your thumbprint unlocks the transaction. The button says buy now, not proceed to cart. The confirmation happens after the purchase, not before. A single tap, a single swipe, a face that happens to be pointed at the phone, and the money is gone. The pause where doubt used to live has been engineered out of the experience. This is not neutral design. This is intentional architecture. The people who build these systems have studied exactly how long a pause needs to be before most buyers reconsider. They have A/B tested the button color, the button size, the button text, the number of screens between the want and the wallet. Every layer of friction that got removed was removed because removing it increased conversion.
Conversion means more people saying yes, and the easiest way to get more people to say yes is to reach them before the no has time to form. The midnight purchase is the purest expression of this. You are tired. Your willpower has been spent on the day. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles long-term planning and impulse control, is running on fumes. The thing you are looking at has been following you around the internet for a week.
The reviews are good. The price looks reasonable.
And there, beneath your thumb, is a button that requires nothing from you except one small movement. You tap. You feel the brief chemical reward of solving a want. You go to sleep. 3 days later, a package arrives. You open it. The thing inside is fine. It is exactly what the photo showed. And you cannot remember why you needed it. You did not need it.
There was no need, only a want that reached you at the exact moment when wants are hardest to refuse. That is the mood premium on the consumer side. You did not pay more than the listed price. You paid for something you would not have bought at a calmer hour. The real cost is the future that money could have built if it had stayed in your account long enough to reach a boring afternoon. This same mechanism runs in reverse at a much larger scale on the investing side. The people who design that timing are even more sophisticated than the ones who design checkout buttons. An IPO is not built to give you a good deal. It is built to give the people who already own the company the best possible exit price. That is the structural purpose. The roadshow, the press coverage, the breathless headlines, the ticker countdown, the sense of participating in history. All of it is designed to generate maximum enthusiasm at the exact moment shares become available to the public. The insider who bought SpaceX at $135 had access weeks before Jerome. The price at that point reflected a negotiation, not a frenzy.
By the time the frenzy arrived, by the time Jerome and thousands of people like him were refreshing tickers and feeling the electricity of the moment, the price had been reset to capture all of that enthusiasm.
Jerome paid the mood premium, not because he was dumb, because he was excited at the moment he was supposed to be excited. The system that sold him the shares was designed to catch him exactly there. The math makes this uncomfortable. SpaceX priced at a valuation of $1.77 trillion on roughly $18 billion in revenue. That is 94 times sales. The average company in the S&P 500 trades at about 3 times sales.
You can believe SpaceX is exceptional. You can believe the future it is building justifies a premium. But 94 times sales means you are not buying the company it is today.
You are buying the company it might become if everything goes right, every launch succeeds, every market materializes, every competitor stumbles. You are paying for a future that has not happened yet, priced at peak optimism. That is what mood-driven buying looks like in the investment world. The thing is real. The company is real. The belief is real. But the price includes a surcharge for the emotional state of the buyers at the moment the transaction happens. And this is not limited to IPOs. It runs through every asset class, every market cycle, every moment when the news is either very good or very bad.
When prices are rising fast, when everyone is talking about it, when your neighbor mentions they got in early, when the chart looks like a ladder climbing toward the sky, that is peak emotional temperature.
That is when the mood premium is highest. That is when the system is optimized to reach you. And that is when, historically, the returns for new buyers are worst. The price already includes all the excitement that got you to the screen. When prices are falling, when the news is terrible, when everyone you know is selling, when looking at your account feels like physical injury, that is when the mood premium points the other way. That is when calm buyers, the ones who can act without emotion, get the best deals. But almost no one can act calmly in that moment. The same emotional machinery that made you eager to buy at the top makes you desperate to sell at the bottom. The mood premium is not a one-time charge. It is a tax on every financial decision made at the wrong temperature. Let me show you what this actually costs over time. The $71 gap does not stay $71. Money lost early in your investing life costs more than money lost later because the early money was going to compound the longest. A dollar lost at 25 is not the same as a dollar lost at 55. The first dollar had 30 more years to double, and double again, and double again. The mood premium does not just take from the present. It takes from every future the present was supposed to build. There is a threshold that most people never feel because they quit before reaching it. Somewhere around $100,000 invested, maybe $150,000. The math shifts. Below that threshold, your contributions do most of the work. The account grows because you keep putting money in, and the compounding is real but too slow to feel. Above that threshold, the growth starts to overtake the contributions. The account adds more in a good year than you could have added yourself. That is the moment where the invisible work starts becoming visible, where the patience finally converts to something you can point at. Most people never get there. Not because they could not afford to, because the mood premium kept intercepting their money before it could stack. Every purchase made at midnight instead of noon. Every investment made at peak hype instead of during a boring week. Every yes given while the room was loud, urgent, and emotionally loaded. Every financial decision that happened at high emotional temperature cost more than the receipt showed because it interrupted the only process that was actually going to change their position. This is not about guilt. Guilt makes people worse with money, not better. This is about seeing the mechanism clearly enough to recognize when it is operating on you. So you can build systems that do not require you to out-discipline a $1 trillion engineering effort. The antidote is boring by design. That is the structural insight. Most advice tells you to be smarter, more disciplined, more aware. It assumes the problem is that you do not know enough or do not try hard enough. But the mood premium is not defeated by knowledge or effort. It is defeated by timing. The same person, with the same knowledge, makes a different decision at a different emotional temperature. The solution is not to become a better decision maker in the moment. The solution is to make fewer decisions in moments when the mood premium is operating. Every financial habit that actually works over time shares one feature. It functions on calm days, not exciting ones. The automatic transfer happens on payday. Same amount, every time. Before you have a chance to feel it as money you could spend. The decision was made once, on a boring afternoon, and then repeated mechanically. The mood premium cannot touch it. By the time you feel anything, the money is already gone. The card that is not saved in the app forces a pause. The pause does not need to be long. 20 seconds is usually enough. Find the card. Type the number. In those 20 seconds, most impulses lose their grip. Impulses are designed for frictionless execution. They are not designed to survive a minor inconvenience. The friction does not require discipline. It just requires that you set it up once and leave it there. The 24-hour rule is even simpler. Anything over a certain amount, you wait a day before buying. Not because waiting is virtuous. Because wanting something on Monday and still wanting it on Tuesday is meaningful information. Wanting something at 11 p.m. and not remembering why by the next afternoon tells you exactly what that purchase was worth. The boring investment that you never check works the same way. Broad, low cost, diversified, automatic. No news to follow, no Tigger to refresh, no moment of maximum excitement where a button appears and asks if you want to buy more. The decision was made once, at low temperature, and then the machine runs without needing another decision. The mood premium cannot find a surface to attach to. This is the structural defense. You do not win by being calmer than the system designed to catch you at your least calm. You win by not being in the room when the system is looking for you. Let me be clear about what this is not saying. This is not saying that excitement is bad. Excitement is human. The problem is not feeling enthusiasm about a company, a product, a future. The problem is making binding financial commitments while the enthusiasm is at its peak. The price at that moment includes a surcharge for the emotion itself. This is not saying you should never buy impulsively. Some impulses are fine. The coffee, the small treat, the spontaneous kindness. The mood premium matters most on decisions that compound, decisions that recur, decisions that commit future dollars to present emotions. And this is not saying the system is evil. The people who design frictionless checkout and well-timed IPOs are solving for a goal. Their goal is to maximize transactions. That goal is not the same as your goal. Your goal is to build something that lasts. The system is not wrong for optimizing what it optimizes. You are not wrong for noticing that your optimization and theirs are different problems. The mood premium is a feature, not a bug, of systems designed to catch you at peak readiness. The countermove is building systems of your own that operate at a different temperature entirely. So return to Jerome, watching the ticker at 6:47 in the morning. The price is $206. The button is right there. The moment feels historic. Everything about the setup is designed to make yes feel like the only reasonable answer. Jerome is not wrong to believe in the company. He is not wrong to want to own a piece of the future, but the price on the screen is not neutral. It includes a charge for the emotional temperature of the room. It includes all the excitement of everyone else watching the same ticker at the same moment, all of them feeling the same historic weight, all of them hovering over the same button. The insider paid $135. Same company, different room. The insider was not smarter. The insider was transacting at a different temperature. The $71 gap is not bad luck. It is the system working exactly as designed. Your system is designed to find you at your most ready and extract maximum value from that readiness. Your boring, automatic, low-temperature machines are the only counter. The most expensive money decisions you will ever make will not feel expensive when you make them. They will feel justified. They will feel like the obvious choice. They will feel like finally saying yes to something you have been waiting for. The mood premium does not announce itself. It arrives wearing the costume of certainty. The decisions that actually build wealth will feel flat, boring, like nothing is happening, because nothing visible is happening. The automatic transfer that no one sees. The investment you do not check. The purchase you did not make because the pause gave you 20 seconds to forget you wanted it. This is the inversion that takes years to understand. The excitement is the cost. The boredom is the return. Every system that wants your money has figured this out. The checkout screen is optimized to reach you at peak convenience. The IPO is timed to launch at peak enthusiasm. The sale ends tonight. The seats are almost gone. The ticker is live. Your counter system has to operate at a different frequency entirely. Make the important decisions on boring days. Automate the ones that matter most. Build friction into the places where impulses like to run. And whenever a financial opportunity arrives wearing urgency and excitement, remember that those feelings are not evidence the deal is good.